Museum Indians. Memoir by Susan Powers. A snake coils in my mother's dresser drawer. It is thick and black, glossy as sequins. My mother cut her hair several years ago, before I was born, but she kept one heavy braid. It is a 3-foot snake I lift from its nest and handle as if it were alive. "Mom, why did you cut your hair?" I ask. I am a little girl lifting a sleek black river into the light that streams through the kitchen window. Mom turns to me. "It gave me headaches. Now put that away and wash your hands for lunch." "You won't cut my hair, will you?" I'm sure this is a whine. "No, just a little trim now and then to even the ends." I return the dark snake to its nest among my mother's slips, arranging it so that its thin tail hides beneath the wide mouth sheared by scissors. My mother keeps her promise and lets my hair grow long, but I am only half of her. My thin brown braids will reach the middle of my back, and in maturity will look like tiny garden snakes. My mother tells me stories every day, while she cleans, while she cooks, on our way to the library, standing in the checkout line at the supermarket. I like to share her stories with other people, and chatter like a monkey when I am able to command adult attention. "She left the reservation when she was 16 years old, I tell my audience. 16 sounds very old to me, but I always state the number because it seems integral to my recitation. She had never been on a train before, or used a telephone. She left Standing Rock to take a job in Chicago so she could help out the family during the war. She was petrified of all the strange people and new surroundings. She stayed in her seat all the way from McLaughlin, South Dakota to Chicago, Illinois, and didn't move once." I usually laugh after saying this because I cannot imagine my mother being afraid of anything. She is so tall, a true Dakota woman. She rises against the sun like a skyscraper, and when I draw her picture in my notebook, she takes up the entire page. She talks politics and attends sit-ins, wrestles with the Chicago police, and says what's on her mind. I am her small shadow and witness. I am the timid daughter who can rage only on paper. We don't have much money, but Mom takes me from one end of the city to the other on foot, on buses. I will grow up believing that Chicago belongs to me because it was given to me by my mother. Nearly every week we tour the Historical Society, and Mom makes a point of complaining about the statue that depicts an Indian man about to kill a white woman and her children. "This is the only monument to the history of Indians in this area that you have on exhibit. It's a shame because it is completely one-sided. Children who see this will think this is what Indians are all about." My mother lectures the guides and their bosses until eventually that statue disappears. Some days we haunt the Art Institute, and my mother pauses before a Picasso. "He did this during his blue period," she tells me. I squint at the blue man holding a blue guitar. "Was he very sad?" I ask. "Yes, I think he was." My mother takes my hand and looks away from the painting. I can see a story developing behind her eyes, and I tug on her arm to release the words. She will tell me why Picasso was blue, what his thoughts were as he painted this canvas. She relates anecdotes I will never find in books, never see footnoted in a biography of the master artist. I don't even bother to check these references because I like my mother's version best. When Mom is down, we go to see the mummies at the Field Museum of Natural History. The Egyptian dead sleep in the basement, most of them still shrouded in their wrappings. "These were people like us," my mother whispers. She pulls me into her waist. "They had dreams and intrigues and problems with their teeth. They thought their one particular life was of the utmost significance. And now, just look at them. My mother never fails to brighten. So what's the use of worrying too hard or too long? Might as well be cheerful. Before we leave this place, we always visit my great-grandmother's buckskin dress. We mount the stairs and walk through the museum's main hall, past the dinosaur bones all strung together, and the stuffed elephants lifting their trunks in a mute trumpet. The clothed figures are disconcerting because they have no heads. I think of them as dead Indians. We reach the traditional outfits of the Sioux in the Plains Indian section, and there is the dress, as magnificent as I remembered. The yoke is completely beaded. I know the garment must be heavy to wear. My great-grandmother used blue beads as a background for the geometrical design, and I point to the azure expanse. Was this her blue period? I ask my mother. She hushes me unexpectedly. She will not play the game. I come to understand that this is a solemn call, and we stand before the glass case as we would before a grave. I don't know how this got out of the family, Mom murmurs. I feel helpless beside her, wishing I could reach through the glass to disrobe the headless mannequin. My mother belongs in a grand buckskin dress such as this, even though her hair is now too short to braid and has been trained to curl at the edges in a saucy flip. We leave our fingerprints on the glass, 2 sets of hands at different heights pressing against the barrier. Mom is sad to leave. I hope she knows we visit her dress, my mother says. There is a little buffalo across the hall, stuffed and staring. Mom doesn't always have the heart to greet him. Some days we slip out of the museum without finding his stall. You don't belong here, Mom tells him, on those rare occasions when she feels she must pay her respects. We honor you, she continues, because you are a creature of great endurance and great generosity. You provided us with so many things that helped us to survive. It makes me angry to see you like this. Few things can make my mother cry. The buffalo is one of them. I am just like you, she whispers. I don't belong here either. We should be in the Dakotas, somewhere a little bit east of the Missouri River. This crazy city is not a fit home for buffalo or Dakotas. I take my mother's hand to hold her in place. I am a city child, nervous around livestock and lonely on the plains. I am afraid of a sky without light pollution. I never knew there could be so many stars. I lead my mother from the museum so she will forget the sense of loss. From the marble steps we can see Lakeshore Drive spill ahead of us, and I sweep my arm to the side as if I were responsible for this view. I introduce my mother to the city she gave me. I call her home.